his past two movies, I believe, we spoke, and he's got a new one coming out. We're going to hear all about it. Great brother. I have a lot of admiration for him. David Oyelowo. Good to see you, man.
Nice to see you. I'm very well, thank you.
You will not believe where I just came from.
Tell me.
Selma.
Oh,
This
wow.
movie weekend.
Oh, wow.
So I
Wow, of
literally
course.
got off a plane at 2 o'clock this morning, and my show's at 6. So I had to come right in the studio
Wow.
and air some of the audio from the weekend. Didn't even have a shower, nothing. So I'm really like been on. It's like I've really been on the march.
Wow.
I've just been out, in the wilderness, and came on in. But I thought about you while I was there. And I tell you, in the context, if I'm not mistaken, I believe I read somewhere, or maybe you told me. I mean, there were moments when you all had an opportunity to just go spend some quiet moments of reflection on the bridge.
Yeah.
And I'm always excited. I go every year.
Right.
And I'm always excited when I see people go for the first time and have the experience. But I tell them, because I thought about you, I said, what you also have to do, though, we all march, and we marched with John Lewis yesterday, as always. But I say to people, be sure you go, one evening alone and just go stand on the bridge and get that experience. And I must say your portrayal of Dr. King still is stellar to me.
Thank you.
In you channel. I tell you something else. I thought when Oprah Winfrey was being beaten in the movie, the sign of a great actor, folks, is when he can portray a feeling or an emotion without words. And when she was being beaten and the camera came on you and your facial reaction to her being beaten, you were like, it just horrified.
Yeah.
That's some acting.
Yeah. But also, we got so in it.
Yeah.
When we were doing that film and being in the same places where these events took place, whether it's the Capitol steps in Montgomery or the actual bridge itself. We shot a lot of it in Atlanta, where, of course, Dr. King is from. So, there was some real emotion going on, and we all got very close as a cast, and we knew that we were doing something that was more than just a film. So, yes, I'm watching Oprah as Annie Lee Cooper, but I'm also watching Oprah going through those things in a real way. And so there was real overlap between the experience we were evoking and how we were feeling about it. And we actually shot that scene on the day that Maya Angelou passed away.
That's right.
So, for Oprah, it was a very intense day. And so the feeling on the set was one of just realness, and I think that comes across in the film.
Yeah. New film.
Yeah.
Gringo.
Yes.
Tell us all. This is a little different.
I hope so. I like to change it up, and this is certainly that for me. This is an action comedy. I play a guy called Harold Shoyinka, who works at a pharmaceutical company in Chicago, and he is a Nigerian immigrant who is hopeful of the American dream, and he soon finds out that the company he works for is about to be sold. His bosses have betrayed him, and as if that's not bad enough, he finds himself in Mexico being chased by the cartel, his bosses, and a mercenary to boot, all while having very real challenges in his marriage.
So, have you, and I think you've done comedy before.
I have, but, little seen. I've done it on stage, and I did a show called Number One Ladies Detective Agency.
Right.
With Jill Scott, and I had a very nice episode where I got to play something comedic. But by and large, it's been more dramatic roles.
So, do you like comedy as much as drama?
I'm a lot more goofy in real life than people get to see in movies. Like I say, I've done a lot of these dramatic roles. One of my more prominent roles playing Dr. King, of course, in Selma, and so people associate you with a certain kind of thing, and so this is an opportunity for me to show another side of myself.
And pretty great and diverse cast with you.
Yeah.
Got some pretty big names in there.
Yeah, no, Charlize Theron, Joel Edgerton, Amanda Seyfried, Tandy Newton, Sharlto Copley, Harry Treadaway, Yul Vasquez. I mean, just some really, really great actors. And I think the fun we had making the film comes off when you actually see it on the screen.
And you're actually playing a Nigerian. What's the origin of this story? Gringo? Where did that come from?
Well, it wasn't written as that. When I first read the script, it was actually a script called American Express, and I was looking for a comedy, and I read this role, and I found myself laughing out loud. And I sat down with Nash Edgerton, our director, and even though he had never pictured him as a black guy, he embraced that. And what I didn't want to do is sort of play the hapless loser. I wanted to play someone. I always want to play someone dimensional, complex, and believable.
Sure.
And I had seen my parents go through not exactly what Harold goes through, but there is a kind of naivety that comes with being an immigrant. When you come to a country and you're full of hopes, and it's something that people can take advantage of, and people take advantage of Harold from that point of view. Even me moving to this country 11 years ago, moving to LA from the UK, there are situations you find yourself in that would never happen in the place you're from, because what the lie of the land is. When you go to a different place, what happens to Harold is that everyone around him is aware of his situation before he realizes the situation he's in. And that's because he trusts people maybe a bit more than he should.
Yeah. So Gringo, folks, opening this week, right, in theaters. This Friday, March 9th. I want to be sure we get there. You all go check out Gringo. A lot going on in movies in terms of us folk these days. What do you think about Black Panther?
I thought that was an extraordinary film.
Yeah.
An extraordinary film. It just blows my mind that it took an imagined depiction of Africa to actually depict what it feels like to be an African, to show that self-possession, to show that regality, that sassiness, that sexiness, to show a place in Africa that is teeming with resources that the world covets. That's the reality of Africa, certainly without the degradation it has faced in the wake of colonialism. So, I think the pride that is being raised up in people of color for it is to do with seeing an Africa they love. And, for people generally, just seeing a place that they would aspire to and want to go to. And I'm telling you, folks, having lived in Nigeria for 7 years myself, having grown up the child of Africans, that's actually what it feels like to be African.
Yeah, I thought about you too. So, obviously, there are going to be sequels. It's going to be a whole franchise.
Right.
You're an African brother. You should be in Black Panther. Would you want to play a hero in a series or a villain?
Well, you know what?
What about superheroes anyway? Are you into that? Would you be into
I love watching them. I really love watching them. And boy, do I love watching them with my kids. I have 3 sons and a lovely girl. I don't know. I'm always a bit nervous about the idea of me as a superhero, only because I think when you play that kind of iconic role, it's hard to shake it off. It's hard for people to embrace you in other roles. And I really, really love, as people will see when they watch Gringo, mixing it up. I love being in different genres, different kind of characters, working with different kinds of people. And, sometimes, and it's not all the time, but sometimes when you're so identified with a character, it can be tricky.
You have 4 kids?
Yeah.
How old are they?
They are 16, 13, 10, and 6.
Wow. So did they saw Black Panther?
Oh my goodness.
I know they enjoyed it.
Yes, they saw Black Panther. I'm just so proud to show them, that. And anyone who knows my work, I did a film called A United Kingdom that was an African prince,
right.
Queen of Cartway, which was a chess coach who nurtures this beautiful girl towards success. These are the kind of images I want to see in the world. So Black Panther is exactly the kind of film I wished was out there when I was a kid.
And speaking of United Kingdom, that's the last time we talked about that.
Right.
And, I've watched it several times since we talked. And I confess, I didn't say this when we first talked. Black Panther talks about the complexities in our culture, African American, as Du Bois said, those 2 irreconcilable strivings sometimes. But knowing the story of United Kingdom, I think for some of us, here's a movie, and there was controversy, obviously, because the king married a white woman.
Mm-hmm.
But man, you all nailed that. It was incredible. And the performance, the story, it was very easy to understand and embrace. And it was a very, very human story. So I just really want to commend you for that, man. 'Cause, sometimes the generalization of a story doesn't do the portrayal, the dramatic portrayal, and the great acting the service it deserves.
Yeah.
But you all did that.
Thank you. I appreciate that. That's been a mark of my career so far. I look to projects that are images we haven't seen before. And sometimes when you are seeing things for the first time or things that are rarely seen, it takes you're breaking ground. I remember with Salma, we were reprimanded for wearing "I Can't Breathe" T-shirts to the premiere, and some would even say we got punished for it during award season. But now you look at the red carpet last night at the Oscars, everyone's got protest pins, and 3 years on, and the ground has been broken to a point whereby the culture has shifted. You see Greta Gerwig being nominated for an Oscar, the first time a woman's been nominated for an Oscar in 9 years, and I still think it was wrong that Ava did not get nominated.
Yeah.
But again, she was breaking ground as a black woman, and we got even dinged for the fact that, we didn't have a white hero / savior character in Selma. People were mad that LBJ's portrayal wasn't as heroic. Look, when I first read that script, LBJ was the lead and Dr. King was a supporting role. And, we flipped that because that wasn't the story that we needed to tell. And so even now with Black Panther, with Get Out, with other films that we're seeing, the ground has been broken, and we stood on the shoulder of giants in terms of Poitier and Denzel and other great filmmakers. And so, exactly as you say, people can sometimes misconstrue what a piece is at face value. But that's the amazing thing about film is that it lives way beyond opening weekend.
And it is great news about Get Out last night.
Yeah,
that Oscar.
I mean, Jordan Peele, what he did, what he managed to weave in to a horror comedy by way of social commentary was just extraordinary. I mean, I would say the same thing with Ryan Coogler and Black Panther, and it's certainly what we've tried to do with Gringo in having a Nigerian immigrant. I mean, when we were making it, we didn't know that immigration and immigrants was going to be such a buzzword, but we managed to put a little bit of that into our action comedy as well.
So what else are you working on? What else are you looking at?
I am currently shooting a mini-series of Les Miserables in Belgium right now. It's not the singing version. It's based on Victor Hugo's novel, which is what the musical is actually based on. And I'm playing Javert in that. And it's
really?
Yeah.
So where's that going to be seen?
That's going to be on the BBC in the UK, and it's going to be on PBS Masterpiece here.
Wow. And it's a miniseries.
It is, 6 episodes, 6 1-hour episodes.
That's outstanding.
Yeah.
That's outstanding. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
And again, it shows your versatility. And in spite of being dinged for the reasons you said, which were clearly unfair, the trajectory, as you said, things opening up, somebody has to kind of pave that way. It seems to me the sky's the limit for you.
That's my prayer, and I'm certainly feeling that. I think, the opportunity I get in Gringo would not have happened without, the beautiful opportunity I had with Salma, my sister Ava, and the amazing things she's doing. We started on a small $200,000 movie called Middle of Nowhere, and now she's doing this huge Disney movie, and we are seeing change. Last time you and I spoke, I was a bit skeptical as to whether this change would stick, but I do think we've hit a moment culturally where I think there's a level of vigilance and accountability, not just from my industry, but the audience, that means that it's going to be really difficult to turn the dial back.
Is there any other Black historical figure you like to see yourself playing? Another role you see yourself in?
Well, not that I see myself playing. I do think the world needs a Frederick Douglass movie. I mean, I think that is just way long overdue. I think Sterling K. Brown would crush that, I mean, there's a guy who just, my goodness, the potency and the very real change he brought about. And he's just he's just little celebrated in relation to what he actually did. And man, I would love to see that movie.
You know, I'm sitting here looking at you now because I brought up Du Bois. I spoke at Fisk a couple of weeks ago for his 150th. Now I see you with the beard, which I like, by the way. It's bearded guys got to stick together. I can see you playing Du Bois.
Well, I appreciate that. I mean, I think I have to squeeze in a few more gringos so that people don't deem me the historical figure guy. But look, there is something so precious to me about portraying our history, and I really mean that, because African American history is African history, and I'm now, a citizen of this country, and I feel this country has given me so much. Films like The Butler, Red Tails, Lincoln, Selma, to have been part of that history in some way. Now, it's weird, but when MLK Day comes around, it's people don't leave me alone. it's like become something that I'm associated with, and that is just going to be something I'm going to take to my grave.
No, and you played that role. You did, and you channeled him a great deal. So Gringo out March 9th. Folks, check it out. Our brother continue to do great work, as versatile as he is, and we expect many, many more great things from him. Looking forward to Les Miserables, too. That's going to be something.
I hope so.
My man, David Oyelowo, our very special guest. Us bearded brothers stick together, but notice his is black. I remember when mine was black. I remember those days, but,
it's coming through. It's coming through a little
bit. That's the first thing to go gray.
Oh, really?
It goes gray before your hair. The beard goes gray before your hair does. So.
Wow.
So,
thanks for the warning.
Yeah. Love you, brother.
Bless
very,
you.
very proud of you,
Thank
man.
you.
And keep up the great
appreciate
work.
that.
It's an honor to be in your presence, okay?
Thank you.
All right.
Thank
David Oyelowo, folks, thanks. This is MIP.